Welcome to December Days, a sharing of poems and verse with a December or holiday theme. Join us and enjoy. Hello, my name is Terry Corbin Hutchinson, and I work at the Lawrenceville branch. I'll be reading My People by Langston Hughes. My people. The night is beautiful, so the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, so the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun. Beautiful also are the souls of my people.
Hi, I'm Erin, and today I'll be reading The Perfect Cup of Cocoa by Barbara Vance. The perfect cup of cocoa is rich and chocolatey and always warm but not too hot, a steaming chocolate sea. The surface is encased below a thick marshmallow mound, which melts into a gooey cloud without the slightest sound. A whipped cream swirl extends beyond the surface of the cup. And chocolate sprinkles add the perfect touch to dress it up. The perfect cup of cocoa is like an old best friend. It's warm, it's sweet, it's such a treat, and yummy till the end.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and today I'm joined by...
And I'm Kristen.
And I'm Anthony.
And we will be reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas, one of our favorite Dr. Seuss books. We will be reading a shortened version today, but hope you enjoy it just the same.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos.
Yes, tomorrow all the Who boys and girls will wake up bright and early and run to their toys. Then all the noise, noise. Then the Whos young and old would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. Which was something the Grinch could not stand in the least. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do about Christmas. He made a Santa Claus hat and coat. He laughed in his throat and thought, what a great Grinchy trick. With his coat and hat, I look just like St. Nick. He made a sleigh, and all he needs is a reindeer. The Grinch said, if I can't find a reindeer, I will make one instead. So he called his dog Max and tied a big horn on top of his head. He went to Whoville, and he came back with billions of packages, boxes, and bags.
3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Then the Whos down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore.
Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas perhaps means a little bit more? Then, well, what do you know? The Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. He brought the toys back and the food for the feast, and he himself carved the roast beast.
Hey friends, this is Miss Jamie at the Lawrenceville Library, and today we're going to read Snowmen at Christmas, written by Carolyn Buhner and illustrated by Mark Buhner. One Christmas Eve, I made a snowman very fat and jolly. I dressed him up in red and green and trimmed his hat with holly. I saw his arms were trembling as if he couldn't wait. It made me start to wonder, how do snowmen celebrate? I think that while I'm snug in bed, dreaming of Christmas treats, the merry snowmen slip away and hurry through the streets. They glide down snowy avenues with lamplights all aglow, the sleeping city blanketed in freshly fallen snow. They pass by toy shop windows framed with twinkling lights, pausing for a peek or two at holiday delights. The jolly snowmen gather from everywhere around for a Christmas party for the center of the town. Waving to each other, they call out cheery greetings, all their friends and family so happy to be meeting. A few merry snowmen start trimming the square. Soon holly and icicles are strung everywhere. And then, reaching high for everyone to see, they hang balls of snow on the big Christmas tree. The snow children play freeze tag or red rover, or climb in a stack till they wobble right over. The mothers lay out all kinds of cold treats, ice cream and snow cones and dainty iced sweets. Then the dancing begins to the tune of a fiddle. All the snowmen line up and sashay down the middle. Someone says, "Hush, could that be a jingle?" Then over the hill glides the snowman, Kris Kringle. He opens his sack with a jolly ho ho and pulls out their presents, each made out of snow. Santa sips his cocoa, the reindeer romp and play, and then with a whistle, they're off on their way. Such fun snowmen have, but there's still one more thing. With hearts full of joy, they hold hands and they sing. While the fiddler plays and sweet silver bells ring, they sing songs about snow and the birth of a king. The children are sleepy, the grown-ups are yawning, the snowmen go home just as Christmas is dawning. They're all back in their places when Christmas Day starts, but these folks made of snow have a glow in their hearts. Their smiles are more tender, their eyes softly shine as the snowmen dream dreams of their Christmas time. Merry Christmas! And that's the end of Snowmen at Christmas time. I hope you had a good time. Thank you.
Ellington was not a street. By Ntozake Shange, with illustrations by Kadir Nelson. It hasn't always been this way. Ellington was not a street. Robeson, no mere memory. Du Bois walked up my father's stairs. hum some tune over me, sleeping in the company of men who changed the world. It wasn't always like this. Why, Ray Barretto used to be a sideman, and Dizzy's hair was not always gray. I remember I was there. I listened in the company of men. Politics as necessary as collards, music even in our dreams. Our house was filled with all kind of folks. Our windows were not cement or steel. Our doors opened like our daddy's arms, held us safe and loved. Children growing in the company of men, old Southern men, and young slick ones. Sonny Till was not a boy. The Clovers no ragtag orphans. Our crooners, we belonged to a whole world. Nkrumah was no foreigner. Virgil Akins was not the only fighter. It hasn't always been this way. Ellington was not a street. This is taken or adapted from the poem Mood Indigo, which is the title of a Duke Ellington song.
Hi friends, this is Miss Jamie at the Lawrenceville Library, and today we're going to read a winter story called Little Red Gliding Hood, written by Tara Lazar and illustrated by Troy Cummings. It was winter, and the river winding through the enchanted forest was frozen solid. A girl raced down to the river's edge and laced up her skates. Then she swizzled and twizzled across the ice. She did fancy figure eights, lovely loops, and willowy waltz jumps. Her spins were superb, and everyone called her Little Red Gliding Hood. Little Red's skates were worn in and worn out, no longer snow white, and a little too tight. She frowned at the creases and crumples. Soon she wouldn't be able to use them to skate to Grandma's. She went there every Sunday. No more visits with Grandma? Little Red couldn't imagine. She swizzled down the river and saw a flurry of friends gathering beneath a banner. A pair skating competition. The prize, brand new skates. Oh, slippery slush, I've just got to win. But Little Red needed a skating partner. The dish danced with the spoon, and Hansel spun Gretel like sugar. Little Red had no one. She asked each of her friends. Little Boy Blue just shivered and quivered. Too cold. The 7 dwarves were more interested in passing a puck around. Old MacDonald slipped and fell. E-I, E-I, ouch! Little Red shook her head. None of these partners would do. Maybe Grandma could help find a partner. Little Red whisked off to Grandma's cottage, skating swiftly to avoid the big bad wolf. Over the river and through the woods, to Grandma's house I go. Little Red arrived safely. Oh, slippery slush, she said to Grandma, slumping into a chair. I can't find a partner for the skating competition. Well, how about the gingerbread man? He's very sweet, said Grandma. But he's much too fast. I can't catch him, said Little Red. I bet Baby Bear would be just right for you, said Grandma. But Goldilocks thought so first. I know who, said Grandma. The 3 little pigs just moved into the brick house next door. You should ask one of them. So Little Red skated to the pig's door. Little pigs, let me in. Someone tapped Little Red on the shoulder. Excuse me, said the big bad wolf. I think that's my line. Uh-oh. Eek! The wolf! Little Red sprinted away. Her worn-in, worn-out laces began to unravel. Hey, glide back here, yelled the wolf, giving chase. He swizzled and twizzled across the ice. Little Red pushed on faster, but her boots were lopsided and loose. Stop, yelled the wolf. He steered clear of fallen branches with fancy footwork and sly spins in pursuit of Little Red. Uh-oh, Little Red's skates flew off. Oh, slippery slush. The wolf jumped in front of Little Red and caught her. Little Red shivered with fear. Ooh! You're wonderful! The wolf gently put Little Red down. What? You're a super skater, but I was trying to warn you. Your laces are untied. Oh, Little Red couldn't believe it. This was the big bad wolf? Happens to me all the time, said the wolf. My skates are older than Rip Van Winkle. Little Red stared at his worn-in, worn-out pair, and then she had a grand idea. The day of the competition, Little Red arrived early. She laced up her worn-in, worn-out skates, hugged Grandma, and stepped onto the ice. Trumpets blared with a fanfare announcing the official warm-up, but as the competitors swirled and twirled, a dark figure came zooming toward them, and a boy cried out, "Wolf!" The wolf frightened little Miss Muffet away. She bumped little Jack Horner into the corner. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and Jack and Jill came tumbling after. What a mess! Skaters skidded and spilled all over. The old woman who lived in a shoe had so many children on the ice, she didn't know what to do. Little Red got mixed up in the mayhem. Help! She cried. The big bad wolf raced over. He lifted Little Red high. Put Little Red down now, the woodcutter warned, grabbing his axe. Oh, slippery slush, said Little Red. He's my partner. The crowd was stunned. It got so quiet, you could hear the ice freeze. All the king's horses and all the king's men put the competition together again. The music swelled and pairs took to the ice. They wore flowing costumes and danced on ice like the prince and Cinderella at the ball. In fact, the royal couple were in the competition. The tortoise and the hare made a splendid pair. Jack Sprat and his wife did too. Then Little Red Gliding Hood and the big bad wolf swizzled and twizzled across the ice. They did fancy figure eights, lovely loops, and willowy waltz jumps. Their spins were superb. No one could actually believe the big bad wolf was actually good. That's a performance I'll remember happily ever after, cheered Grandma. The judges whispered, they nodded, they scrawled, and they raised a row of perfect tens. Little Red and the big, not-so-bad wolf were named the winners. Oh my, what big skates you have, said Little Red. The wolf flashed a toothy grin. All the better to glide with you, my dear. And that was the end of Little Red Gliding Hood. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey friends, this is Miss Jamie, and today I'm going to read The Night Before Christmas. It's written by Clement C. Moore, and the pictures are drawn by Lauren Long. "'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cubit, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh and to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And I hope you enjoyed The Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore. Thank you.